Welcome back, everybody, to Two Guys and a Stack of Comics. Mike, great to see you. Got you carved some time out of your schedule, and we get to have a fun one today to talk a series that you and I both love that we feel has been very underrated from a publisher that is knocking it out of the park in Ghost Machine. I've seen Rook Exodus get a lot of credit. It is a great book. We've seen Geiger get talked about a lot. We've talked about it a lot. It's a great book as well. The third series for Ghost Machine, however, might be your and my favorite in Redcoat. Geoff Johns with Bryan Hitch. Just an incredible historical, fun comic. Mike, it's interesting. Is you're a little more conservative as far as jumping into comic book runs than I am. I typically will try a few more series than you will. But Redcoat grabbed you, and you've been reading like crazy and catching up. What is it that you enjoy about the series? And if you were to try to tell readers who maybe haven't read it, what do you think it is that it captures that a reader would love?
I love historical fiction. That's why I love the hard case comics, the Minky Woodcock.
Hmm.
She's this private eye in the 20s and 30s, and she meets all these interesting historical characters, and I love that. Um, and in Redcoat, you totally get that. You have Simon, who's was a British soldier and battling George Washington at the time of the American Revolution. And, it hooked me on the first couple of issues. Something goes strangely wrong, of course, as it happens in comic books.
Yeah.
um, if something goes wrong, there's some kind of metaphysical thing that we are led to believe is initiated by the Masonic people that were running around the countryside at that point in time, and they were trying to make the Mason or whoever the head Mason or whatever immortal.
Hmm.
And uh, he gets mixed up in the fray, trying to run away from a fight, a battle or something where he's going to die, and he ends up, getting the curse or the whatever imbued on him, and so now he's immortal. And he
Immortal and kind of
dies.
tethered to the United States soil. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. He can't leave the area. So he runs through history and he's kind of a scoundrel kind of guy. Um, and then in the early turn of the century, the 20th century, he meets or the late 19th century, early 20th century, he meets a young Albert Einstein, and they're trying to prevent this order from bringing about the destruction of the world or whatever. And so he spends his first few lifetimes kind of being a scoundrel, running around, running up enormous tavern bills at the various taverns throughout time. The interest on that bar tab is, astronomical after 300 years. But anyway, he spends the last part of this trying to make up for that, and it's kind of cool how it goes back and forth through time. There's some Civil War stuff, and then
You,
uh,
you meet a lot of cool characters in it, and then he's kind of blending this cool version of historical fiction with myths and fables. And there's an issue with Johnny Appleseed and Annie
yeah,
Oakley and different characters. And I think what I've really enjoyed about the book, it's kind of the scoundrel character. He reminds me of Han Solo. That's the biggest thing I can
yeah.
get in that
I didn't think about
a,
that,
a
but yes,
scoundrel, but a little bit of heart. He's not as heroic as Han, but it was fun to read a character like that. And I think what Geoff Johns does so well is the character remains unpredictable. You don't know if he will do the cowardly, scoundrelly thing or he will be heroic. And there has been issues where he's done both. And
yeah.
I think that's really cool in how he's designed a character like that that brings a bit of unpredictability to your reading experience where you're not sure where it's going to go. I think, like you mentioned, the historical fiction piece is fantastic. And what I love about Johns is I feel like if this was a Marvel and DC book, the book would be written with an agenda in mind of I'm going to address all the ills of American society since its founding. And it would be way too ingrained in that, and it would lose the fun factor. And while, look, there's a lot of stuff in American history that is not great. I love that Geoff Johns is like, I'm going to explore it. We will lightly touch on it, but it is still a comic book I want you to have fun with. And I think that sidestepping that landmine and just exploring historical fiction with this fun character, it makes it a fantastic read every week.
Look at that double page spread, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, it's just so much fun. Oh, and last month they came out with this is the second year, so we're on issue 13. But
Mm-hmm.
look, they had the classic DC go-go checks at the top.
Yeah, no,
What?
Ghost Machine's been going with that for a while, and
It, the,
you brought the 2 page spread. It's amazing that we get Bryan Hitch on this, and he's been on every issue.
I
And
know.
this is where Ghost Machine really strikes at the heart of DC Comics, in that you've got Gary Frank, Jason Fabok working on Rook Exodus and Geiger, respectively. And then you get Bryan Hitch. These are three guys who should be at DC Comics or Marvel Comics. And they're putting out these excellent Ghost Machine books with art every month. And another part that you and I have loved about Ghost Machine, $3.99 an issue, cardstock cover, premium talent, and consistency. It's amazing how well it's been put together. And I think Redcoat, to me, has stood out of the three in that Rook Exodus, 6 great issues, Jason Fabok on all of them. I think we're going on close to a year now with no new issues. And again, I'm willing to wait for it, but it's a bit disappointing. Geiger, there's 16, 17 issues in. We've had 4 or 5 issues that Gary Frank hasn't been on. No disrespect towards Gary Frank at all. He's a great artist. If he needs time, he needs time. Redcoat, every single issue is Bryan Hitch. And I think that's really, really cool. And it's sometimes you get 6 weeks in between issues a little bit, but the consistency of it, and it's never compromised. I think, Mike, for me, what stood out is the art is just fantastic. There is no issues that look like he mailed it in, or it's like, hey, this month, not as much. You get the
No,
2 page spreads in every issue. I think it's fantastic from an art angle.
from an art standpoint, I mean, just look at the detail in those panels. Like your average big two book, everything is minimalized. It's, how do I say it? Everything is just like basic line drawings, maybe a little detail here or there. Um,
No,
and
the background is the huge difference in that in DC in those panels like you just showed there where there's having a battle, we would get the illustration of Simon Pure and who he's fighting. The other figures would either be obscured to really not have detail, or we'd get the classic all white background that's for dramatic effect on it. it's I think that's the cool thing with this is especially because there's no easy places that he's drawing, because what is kind of cool too is he's drawing very different time periods, very different locations, mixing in some historical elements. So you have some structures that are historically accurate, some are not. It's such a fun book, and the book takes you to different time periods and places, and you really don't know where it's going to go. It does remind me a bit of the show Quantum Leap, a little bit, and not in the whole time jumping into different people's bodies things, but we've had different periods that he explores. I thought this recent arc with the Northerner character that came in, where he's sort of a time traveler with different sort of
I love
modern day
it.
weapons and things, threw
Yeah,
another really fun wrinkle into it. And I think that's, if I had to put a heart of why Redcoat's great, it's fun. I think more
it's
than
so
anything, it's
much
fun.
fun. I mean, the from the little quips to the battle scenes. I mean, look at that art. It's just amazing. And you can tell they're having fun with it. They're enjoying their work and they're turning out a good product. They're not slaving away over at the big two for, whatever and churning out whatever they're told to
You
churn
can tell
out.
it's a passion project. And I think that's one thing you
Yeah,
and I have talked a lot about is we don't feel the passion from a lot of these writers anymore for these characters. And the
really
difference of a book like
unfortunate.
Redcoat is Geoff Johns and Gary Frank, you can tell they're invested in this comic being perfect, being what they
And
want it to be. And it's just so fun to read a book like that.
if you like some undersea shark stuff, this book has it too for Shark Week.
Yeah.
I mean, just cool stuff. I mean, really, really cool stuff.
No, I think
I love
overall
it.
it's worth your time. And I last part we'll touch on here. Respects you as a customer. $3.99. And this is where, you and I have talked price a lot on this channel. And one thing that I just fundamentally just do not understand from the big two. If Image can put out a book with this talent, cardstock covers, better paper quality, and consistency, I don't buy the excuse that Marvel and DC can't. And that's where these books from Ghost Machine kind of spit in the face of so many of the narratives that we hear about, well, we can't get the same artist every issue. Well, we can't really get the consistency piece, or well, it's really hard to find the right paper to print on. If Ghost Machine and Image can figure it out, companies owned by Disney and Warner Brothers can figure that out too. It's just they don't care about the customers all that much. And again, I don't mean that as a condemnation of the writers or the creatives. That goes right to the heart of the editorial, the guys up at the top, whoever it is. Ghost Machine Image respects you as a customer. Premium paper, consistency, it's a good experience. You can tell the comics are still made for the people who go to the shops and pick these books up. Whereas DC and Marvel, for whatever reason, the budget isn't there or they're trying to save it whatever they can. And I just don't buy that it's not possible, especially when you contrast it that you've got this book sitting on the same dang shelf right
I
next to the other one.
know. I know.
But let us know, folks. What do you think down below? Have you checked out Redcoat? We just wanted to make sure we did a video talking about it. It's a
And
great
volume
series.
one. I got
Yeah,
this at San Diego at the Ghost Machine booth. Volume one
absolutely.
is
Yeah, we
out.
got a couple collected editions out there. I think with 13 issues in at this point. Fantastic series, one that we can wholeheartedly recommend. Again, we know not everybody's got the budget and that they want for their comic books and things like that. So when we come on here and try to recommend something, we truly want to make sure it's something we feel like would be worth your time, your effort, and your energy. And while this isn't quite Conan, it's a dang good book that's worth your
It
time, folks. And we
is.
hope you can read it and enjoy. Let us know what you think down below, folks. As always, thank you so much for watching. God bless you. We'll catch you in our next video.
Thanks, everybody.